a problem that many of my clients have had to deal with, not this severe, but it involves a cannabis company in Washington and some PEOs, professional employer organizations. Let me just make sure I get the name of these groups right. The plaintiff is Reach Island, which is a limited liability corporation company in Washington, and the defendants are Greenleaf HR and Vinsure Employer Services. Now, small to medium-sized companies have a difficult time affording onboard payroll people, in-house HR people. Some of these services are provided by what are called PEOs, professional employer organizations. And it's not unusual to hire a payroll company that takes the deductions out, issues wage statements, and complies with the state laws, those types of things, or to handle HR matters like hiring and firing people, disciplining them, on-the-job injuries, things like that. So because it's so expensive, a lot of these companies end up hiring these companies that come in and do these services. Well, what happened here is that this company hired this HR service company to do payroll for them. And I don't know of anything else they were doing because it's not mentioned in the complaint I read. But they hired them to take deductions out of people's paychecks and then pay that money to the IRS. Well, they hired them in 2020, or they had hired them, and in 2020 they were supposed to have taken money out, and I think it was about $60,000, something like that. They're supposed to have taken out and paid the IRS. Well, in 2022, the IRS notified this company, the cannabis company, that no one's paid your taxes. They promptly get on the horn with these CEOs and go, hey, what's up, man? You guys need to pay this. And they acknowledge, oh, we screwed up here and we'll take care of it. Well, 2 years later, the IRS comes back and says, well, from that original $60K plus the $37,000 fine we gave you, now up to $160,000 or $170,000. So this cannabis company paid it. And now they're suing these HR companies for breach of contract. Now, the important thing that I saw out of this, and I want to pass along to anybody running these companies, running a cannabis company who hires one of these PEOs, is that in the contract, they have attorney's fees provisions. Because if you know anything about litigation, attorneys are very expensive, and they want a lot of their money up front. Very few of them will take these cases on contingency. So if you do manage to get through a case and you win, you might be stuck with a multiple six-figure attorney's fee bill, or in this case, it turns out it was $160,000, $170,000 worth of actual damages. So my advice to anybody who's running a cannabis company, is hiring these PEOs, is that you scrutinize that contract and make sure that there are things in there to protect you. And in this case, the protection is going to be an attorney's fees provision. Now, this case was also moved from Washington State Court. It's being removed into federal court. And if I'm a betting man, the defendants are thinking that they can raise the defense of illegality of all these contracts. Now, we talked about this yesterday just a little bit. At the case yesterday we talked about, they didn't raise illegality as a defense at the trial level. So when they got the appeals court, they said, oh, too bad, so sad. But if you raise illegality in a federal court and the underlying contract involves cannabis, you've still got a decent shot of having the whole thing thrown out of court. So I'll be watching this as it goes through the courts. The most important lesson I can send out there to anybody running these cannabis companies that's hiring these PEOs, be very careful the documents you sign, because as you can see here, people will screw things up. And then they're liable to try to screw you after they screwed things up, and you're left holding the bag. The company paid all this money to the IRS, $160,000, $170,000, but they'd also paid these companies that were handling this that same amount of money. They're asking for that money back plus attorney's fees. And protect yourself. I spend a lot of time with my clients and reviewing these contracts, just because they will sneak shit into these contracts or leave it out. and you should demand that you have some protections in there. And if you have any questions, get your attorney to take a look at it. I'm promoting the Full Employment Act for attorneys here also. Be careful, because some of them are worthless pieces of shit, but not all attorneys are like that, okay? And I don't know where I fit in there. I'll leave it up to you guys to tell me, but I'm going to throw this back at you for your input about these companies coming in and screwing your business up. Back at you guys.
Dale, you're a good one. That's my opinion on you.
Yeah.
And I think you also need to be careful, because when you're looking at taxes and the remission of taxes or the remittance of taxes to the government and someone doing that for you, payroll taxes, that's a different situation. That's not just unpaid taxes. That then becomes a felonious crime, because you're entrusted to take this money from the employee's paycheck and pay it into a government fund, into a trust, right? So you're stealing from the trust, which now makes that a different set of crimes. So just be very careful with who you're having handle your money and who you're having handling your business matters, and understand what the repercussions are, because at the end of the day, it's your bad.
I'm surprised that that this company, a Washington-based company, employed a California-based handler for their taxes.
Right.
Well, the companies are out of Arizona. That's where they're supposedly have their principal offices. One of them's a Delaware LLC, which a lot of people do, but they don't, they're not from Delaware. They just go there and get their business set up. But they're from Arizona, and that's why they went to move it to federal court, because there's diversity of citizenship here.
Interesting.
And to Ginny Best's point, here in California, what we've seen is the tax people don't play around. They come to your business, they open up your safe and steal all your money. I mean, take all your money. They won't call it stealing if you don't pay them.
No, they will do that.
Till tap.
Yeah, it's called a till tap. Yeah, they'll send the highway patrol right in there and just start taking all your money. I've seen
Whatever
it
happened to the
And then they send you the highway patrol's bill for you to pay that too, for them to come bust
whatever
up.
happened to the government? Whatever happened to the government arming them and sending them out? Whatever happened to that, Jason?
Say that again.
Or whatever happened.
Are you talking about the IRS, the proposal for the IRS agents to get guns? Is that what you're referring to?
Whatever happened to that?
Well, I mean, it obviously hasn't happened yet. If it is going to happen, but we'll see. I don't think.
I love my accountant. I don't know if I want him
people.
protecting things with a gun.
It wouldn't be your accountant. It would be actual IRS agents that would actually have guns.
Jason, I understand that, but still, nerds with calculators. The IRS didn't get there by not being high-level accountants, right?
I don't think that. I wouldn't consider the IRS in that same category.
Yeah, not necessarily.
Yeah, I wouldn't consider them in that same category.
Cool. Probably have a financial background, though. Those aren't the guys with guns. But okay, continue on.
I don't think you have to have a financial background to be an IRS agent.
It's like arguing with fucking Nick Bradley. This is a song that never ends. I said I conceded. Go ahead.
Okay, fair enough. Look at that.
Yeah. Well, they used to shoot revenuers back in the Prohibition days, so maybe they need to be a little more careful. I'm not promoting any violence on anybody, but you show up and tap someone's till, they're liable to piss them off quite a bit.
I mean, when I had it happen, it definitely pissed me off. I was like, what the hell is even going on? This shit is crazy.
Tell Uncle Sam.
And they got guns pointed at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they didn't have guns pointed at me, but they definitely had their guns on their hip. And they would use them if necessary. That is for sure.
Yeah, we're all still second-class citizens, don't you know?
Yeah, I had to play possum and act like I closed the store. It was crazy.
Pay your taxes.
Yep.
Even though it's theft. Taxation is theft.
Facts upon facts. And do you have any thoughts on this, Rachelle? No?
Keep her moving.
All right. We're going to keep this train rolling.